The Edmonton Oilers have defeated the Arizona Coyotes by a final score of 5-1 in their first game in America since 2020. Yeah, that that factoid, which literally anyone could say, was the only tagline I could think of to follow up the score tonight in explaining this video, because honestly, I, I I'm feeling weird about this game. See, normally after a game, I have an emotion. It might be joy, it might be anger, it might be sadness. Tonight, I, I, I just don't feel anything. I mean, let's face it. If Edmonton lost this game to Arizona, there probably would have been anger. We were supposed to beat this team. This is a team that we should not just be beating, one of two games or two of three games. No, this is a team we should beat every time we play them. We beat a bad hockey team. We should beat. I'm not surprised. Obviously, I'm happy we won, but I'm not overjoyed. If that makes sense. Let's talk about the lineup. Tonight we had a bit of a switch up in the lineup. Something we'd been hearing is that there was a possibility that this team was going to have a home lineup and an away lineup, and that may be the case because tonight we saw the top six that I thought that we were going to have back in the preseason, with Hyman on the top line with McDavid and Puljujärvi, Nuge on the second line with Draisaitl and Yamamoto, and then the rest of the lineup looking identical except for goaltending, in which Mikko Koskinen gets his first start of the year and Stuart Skinner is back up because Mike Smith is out for about a week. And we're going to talk about goaltending because if there's one thing that's actually interesting going into, that's an actual interesting talking point, it's the goaltending position. Let's just get into this. This first period was very boring. It was very boring. It went by very quick. It's an eventless game when you don't run into a commercial break until after the halfway mark. It was a very slow, back and forth, kind of dry game. And honestly, I only had 4 notes written down until we get to our first goal tonight, which is a beauty, mind you. But man, not a lot to talk about. So, yeah, with 2 minutes left in the period, Zach Kassian has the puck in the defensive zone, and he makes a nice little pass over to Warren Foegele. And Warren Foegele, again, I feel like I pointed out in every video, he does that thing he's really good at, in which he just keeps control of the puck, using his body to push through people, and this time it pays off. He pushes through everyone all the way up the ice, and with 3 Coyotes on him, and with him knocked off balance, Warren Foegele shoots on net and scores. It's Warren Foegele's first goal as a member of the Edmonton Oilers, and it makes this game first tally of the night. It's a 1-0 lead for Edmonton. Beautiful goal on his part. Nice setup by Kassian, and man, doesn't it feel so good that this is the 3rd game in the row where we have gotten a goal out of our 3rd line. Think about that. That's the 3rd game in a row. Last year, I think that the best bottom 6 line performance I remember was we had a 2-game stretch where Devin Shore, Jujhar Khaira, and Josh Archibald, 2 of whom are now gone, had 2 pretty good games, and they scored in one of them. That's the best bottom 6 consistent performance we had. And now we have goals from our 3rd line in 3 straight games. Great to see. Nice job by Warren Foegele to drive the play on his own. We now skip into the 2nd period, and we skip to the Oilers killing a penalty. Bouchard takes a holding call. It was the Oilers' 3rd penalty up to this point. Probably the one complaint that you can have in a major way about this game. But on the penalty kill, the Oilers get the puck. It ends up being a 2-on-1. It's Nuge and Hyman. Hyman has it, and instead of trying to pass it over, he just keeps it simple. He snipes it, and he scores. So, Zach Hyman has a wrist shot now. I knew he could shoot, don't get me wrong. I mean, you can't just sit in front of the net and get 30 goals all the time. I mean, you probably could. But you know what I mean? To score that many goals, or at least be on pace to score that many goals, you have to have some other tools in the arsenal. That was a nice wrister from Zach Hyman. And that shot there ends up making this game a 2-0 game. But it's not done. The Oilers get an offensive possession not long after this goal. Connor McDavid ends up getting the puck at the point, and it's Connor McDavid. It's a hockey game. He has the puck. We all know how this ends. Walks in, moves around defenders, snipe, another snipe, by the way. It's 3-0 Oilers with McDavid's 200th career goal. He had 5 goals in 3 games to that point, and he managed to do more. 5 goals in 4 games, because this is game 4. But yeah, so it's 3-0 Oilers heading in to the third period, and in the third, you can't really complain about it because they still won 5-1, but the Oilers did allow a goal, and the funniest thing is, God, like, honestly, right? Let me tell you the sequence, okay? Dustin Mayo scores a goal, assisted by Ryan Dzingel and Andrew Ladd. And it became a 3-1 lead for the Oilers. Now, I could sit here and talk about how Tyson Barrie probably could have stopped it there. But you know what? I'm going to try and keep this video a bit more positive than normal. So, can we talk about the fact that in 2021, Dustin Mayo, who no one else knows, but I know, and you want to know how I know him? It's because he is one of my go-to guys to sign for my AHL team in NHL video games. Dustin Mayo scores a goal from Ryan Dzingel. Remember when Ryan Dzingel signed in Arizona? No one else did. And Andrew Ladd. Oh my gosh, Arizona is fun. They are so fun. Not good. They're not good. But man, just looking at the roster, they got Louis Eriksson in a top 6 role. That team is fun. It's 3-1 for the Edmonton Oilers. Sorry, Arizona. I couldn't even, cool. You got a goal out of Dustin Mayo. I don't think any other team, maybe another team could do that. I don't know. It's 3-1. But then, Arizona makes a mistake because they take a penalty. Meaning the Oilers' power play goes out for the first time. More specifically, Jacob Chychrun, their best defender, takes a tripping penalty. Well, I don't even think we need to watch this one, do we? I mean, let's face it. Their best player, and what would end up, their best defenseman, is in the penalty box against the Oilers' power play. We all know how this ends. The Oilers cycle the puck around in the zone. Nuge does that thing he's became great at, in which he just cross-creases it over to McDavid. McDavid, instead of shooting it like he might have, like he did later, spoilers, he passes it inside, very similar to their first power play goal of the year, if I'm not mistaken it was, inside to Zach Hyman. Zach Hyman gets a stick on it because he's just incredible. Zach Hyman's second of the night. Connor McDavid's second point of the night. I think this is Nuge's second assist of the night. It's 4-1 Oilers. But we're not done, because Nick Schmaltz then decides to take a high-sticking penalty. And we all know how this ends, don't we? The power play is cycling it around again. Barrie has it at the point, over to Nuge. And Nuge, in the identical position from the last power play, passes it to McDavid, except this time, McDavid doesn't pass it. He gets it, stops it for about half a second, and then flings a wrister at the net, which goes in. It's 5-1 Edmonton, and yes, that is where the scoring ends. I cannot lie. You would think for a game where my team wins 5-1, I wouldn't call it boring, but god damn was that a slog. It was just... The first period was rough to watch just because in that one the Oilers played probably the worst of their 3 periods, and they looked not that good. They were getting doubled up at one point, like 11-5 were the shots against Arizona, which is not the best perception you could give to the rest of the league. But they ended up bouncing back from that and playing pretty well at the end of that period. But man, I think it's because I just had a hard time getting invested in. I think it's just because look at what I was trying to invest my time into. I stayed up until 1 a.m. to watch Arizona play Edmonton. That's hard to invest time into, or at least effort into caring about into. That being said, ultra happy with the win. Let's take a look at some of the statistics, shall we? The Oilers outshot the Arizona Coyotes 31-27. They were out hit by the Coyotes by 25-24. Oilers power play 2 for 2. Coyotes power play 0 for 4. When you look at Edmonton's stats, Connor McDavid has 2 goals, 1 assist. Zach Hyman scores 2 goals. Nuge with 3 assists. Warren Fogle with a goal. Barry with 2 assists. And Mikko Koskinen stops 23 of 24. Then we get into Arizona's statistics, and I'll be honest, had a really hard time finding statistics to show of theirs. So Dustin Mayo has a goal. Ryan Dzingel has an assist. Andrew Ladd has an assist. Dmitry Yaskin had 6 hits. Jay Beagle had 5. And I don't even remember his first name, but I wish I had glasses to do the skip properly. Melka. Vidmelka. Random goalie pulled out of some parallel universe. 26 saves on 31 shots. So, all in all, what did I think of this game? It's fine. I mean, listen, it's a 5-1 win. Great job by the offense. Solid job by the defense. Tyson Barrie, while he did get on the scoreboard in this one, I still don't think that he had an on-par game defensively, and I know we're not supposed to expect a lot out of him defensively, but man, he just did not look in place anywhere that wasn't on the power play. Like, at least a bit. Something. Anything. Good 5-on-5 offense? I don't know. Something, please? Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on him, but he did have a pretty bad giveaway. He was also the guy that would have been able to block the passing lane on the 1 goal on the night, and he missed it, and... Listen, here's the deal. This game is one of those games in the regular season that is kind of a skip over. You know, I will say, it is weird for me to start covering this season, because last year, it was a lot different. You played 6 teams. And no matter what team it was, because you're all in the same division, and because every game is a 4-point game, every single game mattered. Every single game that played did have an impact. Even when the Oilers played the Senators, you knew that could play a role in the Oilers standing in the division. This could push them over the top and take them from 3rd to 2nd. This could even possibly take them into 1st. This year, when you're playing the other 31 teams, you're bound to have games like this in which they happen, but they don't really offer a lot of actual, like, it's not that important, right? So there's going to be reviews where I'm kind of just sitting here spinning tires talking about something that I frankly didn't even try to care about. That being said, though, tomorrow night is a game I'm definitely going to care about, because we're walking into Vegas, and this brings me back to the whole goaltending discussion. So if you follow me on Twitter, if you don't follow me on Twitter, go follow me on Twitter. I'm a pretty good follow. Mainly hockey, sometimes political, but mainly hockey. You'll see that reacted to Mike Smith going on IR, and I said, if they're smart, you play Skinner against Arizona and Koskinen against Vegas. Look at how bad Arizona's been. Give Stuart Skinner a much easier game, and then let Mikko Koskinen, who had a good performance in his last outing, let Koskinen go in and play against Vegas. Because if you play Koskinen against Arizona, it's safer to say that game against Arizona is a win, but it's a lot less safer to say that you'll beat Vegas. You probably won't. So they played Koskinen tonight, meaning that tomorrow night they have one of two choices. Do you turn to Mikko Koskinen, making him play 2 consecutive games, or do you turn to Stuart Skinner, who, mind you, has had a phenomenal start to his AHL year? Not to mention he played great in the preseason, but it's a 23-year-old with 1 NHL's game experience, and that one game was played in an empty arena in Ottawa, and the plan may actually be to give him his second game in Vegas. Have you seen that building? Have you seen how much of a ruckus crowd you can get? And think about the fact that they are going to be able to see Connor McDavid play in their arena 1 of maybe 2 times this year. That building's going to be crazy. And I feel in a way you're throwing a kid to the wolves by what you're doing here. So, I guess the burning question from this game is simple. It's nothing to do with the actual game. You are Dave Tippett. You're the head coach of the Oilers. You get to make a choice on who starts. Are you starting Mikko Koskinen, making him play 2 games in a row, or are you starting Stuart Skinner in Vegas with a sold-out crowd? Because honestly, I think that's the burning question for me going into this game. All in all, don't really have any complaints here. And before I start rambling relentlessly, I think I'm going to wrap it up there, folks. So, thank you all for watching. Make sure that if you're new to the channel, maybe click the subscribe button if you want to. Maybe go look at some of my other videos first. I do reaction videos to every Oilers game. I also have a podcast with my friend Colin. We pretty much just... we mess around and talk about hockey for 30 minutes to an hour, maybe even longer sometimes. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow night at about the same time. Goodbye for now.